Stop for a second and look down. Not at your weight, not at the number on a scale. Just look at the shape of your belly, the way it sits, the way it pushes forward. If it feels hard, round, and tight, almost like it's inflated from the inside, that is not just normal fat. And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They think it's just extra calories. They think it's laziness. They think the solution is simple: eat less, move more. But the truth goes deeper than that, and it's far more serious than most people realize. Because this type of belly is often a silent signal, a warning sign that your body is dealing with something hidden, something that doesn't show up clearly at first. Something that builds slowly, quietly, and then suddenly starts affecting your energy, your cravings, your weight, and even your long term health. Here's what makes it more concerning. This condition can exist for years without being diagnosed. You can feel normal most of the time. You can still go about your day, eat your meals, and think everything is fine. But inside your body, a different story is unfolding. Your system is struggling to manage something as basic as sugar. And when that happens, your body adapts in ways that are not helpful. It starts storing more fat, especially around your belly, not soft fat that you can easily pinch, but deeper fat that wraps around your organs. This is why that hard, round shape matters. It's not just about how it looks, it's about what it represents. Most people try to fix this in the wrong way. They push harder, they cut more food, they blame themselves when nothing changes. Weeks pass, months pass, and the belly stays the same, or sometimes it even gets worse. That's because they are fighting the symptom, not the cause. And when the cause is ignored, the body doesn't cooperate. It resists, it holds on, it protects itself in ways that feel frustrating and confusing. This is why understanding what's really happening inside your body can completely change the outcome. Because once you see the real reason, your approach becomes smarter, more effective, and finally things start to shift. In this video, you're going to learn what that belly shape actually means, not in complicated medical terms, but in a simple, clear way that makes sense. You'll understand what is happening inside your body every time you eat. You'll see why certain habits make the problem worse without you even realizing it. And you'll discover the small but powerful changes that can help your body return to balance. These are not extreme steps, they are not unrealistic rules. They are practical insights that most people never hear about, even after trying multiple diets and workout plans. There's also something important that many people overlook. This issue is not only about appearance, it connects to your energy levels, your mood, your hunger patterns, and even your risk of serious health conditions over time. The earlier you recognize it, the easier it becomes to manage. But if it's ignored, it slowly creates a chain reaction inside the body. That's why this topic matters so much. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. It's about understanding your body in a way that gives you control instead of confusion. As you keep watching, things will start to connect. You'll begin to recognize patterns that may already exist in your own life. Small things that once felt random will start to make sense. And by the end of this video, you won't just see your belly the same way again. You'll understand what it's trying to tell you, and that understanding can be the first step toward real change. Welcome to the channel where we break down complex health ideas into simple truths that actually help you. If you want to understand your body better, make smarter choices, and avoid the mistakes that keep most people stuck, make sure to subscribe and stay with us for more clear and practical insights. You might still be thinking in a very familiar way. The kind of thinking almost everyone has been taught for years. The idea that if your belly is getting bigger, the answer must be simple. Eat less food, move your body more, push harder, try another diet, try another routine. It sounds logical. It feels like common sense, so you start adjusting things. You cut calories, you skip meals, you force yourself to exercise even when you feel tired. For a few days, maybe even a few weeks, it feels like you're doing something right, but then something strange starts to happen. The hunger doesn't go away, it gets stronger. The cravings don't disappear, they become more intense. And the most frustrating part is this: the belly doesn't change the way you expect. Sometimes it stays the same, sometimes it even feels more stubborn, more fixed in place. And that creates confusion. because you are putting in effort, you are trying, but your body is not responding the way it should. This is where frustration begins to build. You start questioning yourself. Maybe you think you are not disciplined enough. Maybe you think you are doing something wrong. Maybe you blame your age, your genetics, your lifestyle. But what if the real issue is not about effort at all? What if the problem is not how much you are eating or how much you are moving? What if the real problem is hidden deeper inside your body, in the way your body processes the food you eat, in the way your body handles sugar? Because your body is not just a simple machine where you reduce input and get a predictable output. It is a complex system. And when that system becomes unbalanced, the results stop making sense on the surface. Think about this carefully. Every time you eat, your body has to deal with what you just consumed. It has to break it down. It has to decide what to use for energy and what to store. And one of the most important parts of this process involves something called insulin. Most people have heard this word before, but they don't really understand what it does. They only connect it to diabetes or blood sugar problems. But insulin plays a role long before any diagnosis appears. It is involved in everyday metabolism. It is active every time you eat, even when you feel completely fine. Now consider a different perspective. Instead of asking how much food you are eating, ask how often your body is being pushed to handle sugar. Ask how often insulin is being released. Because the frequency matters, the pattern matters. And over time, these patterns start shaping how your body behaves. This is where the concept of insulin resistance begins to take form. Not suddenly, not overnight, but slowly, step by step, through repeated cycles that most people never notice. Before going deeper into that, it's important to understand something else. Not all belly fat is the same. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. People look at belly fat as one single thing, just extra weight sitting on the body. But in reality, there are different types of fat and they behave very differently. Some fat sits just under the skin. It feels soft. You can pinch it easily. It moves when you press on it. This type of fat, while not ideal in excess, is not the main concern in this discussion. There is another type of fat that behaves in a completely different way. This is the kind that gives the belly a firm, rounded shape. The kind that feels tight when you touch it. The kind that doesn't move much. It almost feels like something is pushing outward from the inside. This is not just surface fat. This is deeper fat. It sits around your internal organs. It builds up inside your abdominal cavity. And because of its location, it changes the way your belly looks and feels. When your belly has that hard, rounded, almost inflated appearance, it is often a sign that this deeper fat is present. And this is where things become more serious. Because this type of fat is not just sitting there passively, it is active. It interacts with your body in ways that affect your metabolism, your hormones, and your overall health. It is closely connected to how your body responds to insulin. This is why the shape of your belly can tell a story that goes far beyond appearance. Now connect us back to the idea introduced earlier. If your body is not handling sugar properly, if insulin is being released too often, if your cells are not responding the way they should, then your body starts adapting. And one of those adaptations is storing more fat in this deeper area. It becomes a cycle. The more the system is stressed, the more this type of fat builds up. And the more this fat builds up, the more it affects how your body functions. To understand this clearly, it helps to break down what insulin actually does in the simplest way possible. Every time you eat, especially foods that raise your blood sugar, your body releases insulin. This is a normal process. It is not something bad on its own. In fact, it is essential for survival. Insulin acts like a key. It helps move sugar from your bloodstream into your cells, where it can be used for energy. Without this process, sugar would stay in your blood, and your cells would not get the fuel they need. At the beginning, this system works smoothly. You eat, insulin is released, sugar moves into your cells, your energy levels remain stable, everything feels normal. But over time, if this process is triggered too often, things start to change. If you are eating frequently, If your meals are constantly causing spikes in blood sugar, your body keeps releasing insulin again and again, and your cells are exposed to this signal repeatedly. After a while, your cells start to respond differently. They become less sensitive. It is almost like they are getting tired of the constant signal. They stop reacting as efficiently as they once did. So when insulin tries to move sugar into the cells, the response is weaker. The sugar does not enter as easily. It stays in the blood longer, and your body notices this. In response, your body does something that seems helpful at first. It produces more insulin. It tries to push harder. It tries to force the sugar into the cells by increasing the signal. And for a time, this works. The system manages to keep blood sugar levels under control. But this comes at a cost, because now you have higher levels of insulin circulating in your body more often than before. This is the stage where insulin resistance begins to develop more clearly. The cells are resistant. The body compensates by producing more insulin. And this creates an environment where fat storage becomes easier and more frequent, especially in the belly area. Because insulin does not just move sugar, it also tells your body to store energy. It signals your body to hold on to fat. When insulin levels stay high for long periods, your body is pushed into a state where storing fat becomes the priority. Burning fat becomes more difficult. Even if you are trying to lose weight, even if you are eating less, your body is still receiving signals to store energy. And this is why the results don't match the effort. This is why the belly becomes stubborn. This is why it feels like nothing is working. At the same time, the deeper fat around your organs continues to build. It does not disappear easily. It is influenced by these internal signals. And as it grows, it continues to affect how your body responds to insulin. The cycle reinforces itself. Resistance leads to higher insulin. Higher insulin leads to more fat storage. More fat leads to more resistance. This process does not always come with clear warnings in the beginning. It develops quietly. You may only notice small changes at first: a little more fatigue after meals, a little more hunger than usual, a stronger desire for sweet or high energy foods. These signs may seem minor on their own, easy to ignore, easy to explain away, but they are part of a bigger pattern. As time goes on, the pattern becomes more visible. The belly shape changes, the firmness becomes noticeable, the weight becomes harder to manage, and the confusion grows, because on the surface, it still looks like a simple problem. But underneath, the system has shifted. Understanding this shift is important because it changes the way you approach the problem. It moves the focus away from blame and toward awareness. It highlights the role of internal processes rather than just external actions. And it opens the door to solutions that actually address the root cause instead of just the symptom. When you start seeing your body through this lens, things begin to make more sense. The struggle is not random. The resistance is not imagined. It is a response to repeated patterns that have shaped how your body functions over time. And once you recognize that, you are no longer guessing. You are no longer fighting blindly. You are starting to understand the real mechanism behind what you see in the mirror. There are small signals your body keeps sending, and most people brush them off because they seem ordinary. You finish a meal, and instead of feeling steady and satisfied, you feel heavy and tired. Your energy drops. Your mind feels slow. You just want to sit or lie down. This is often seen as normal, but it is not how the body is supposed to respond to food. Food should give you energy, not take it away. Then, not long after eating, sometimes within an hour or two, the hunger comes back again. It feels urgent. It feels like you need to eat something quickly. It doesn't feel calm or controlled. It feels like a push. And even if you try to ignore it, it stays there in the background. Along with this, there are cravings that don't match what your body actually needs. You may have just eaten enough, but there is still a strong pull towards sugar, towards snacks, toward quick energy foods. It's not just a preference, it feels like a demand. And at the same time, the belly area refuses to change. You try different methods, you reduce portions, You increase activity, you stay consistent for days or weeks, but that one area stays stubborn. It feels firm. It looks the same. This combination of signs creates confusion because each one seems separate, but they are connected in a very clear way. These are not random problems. They are not isolated issues that just happen without a reason. They are signals. Your body is trying to communicate something through these patterns. The tiredness after eating is a signal. The fast return of hunger is a signal. The strong cravings are a signal. The resistance to fat loss in the belly is a signal. When you start looking at them together instead of separately, a pattern begins to appear. The body is struggling to manage energy in a stable way. It is reacting strongly to food. It is swinging between highs and lows instead of staying balanced. And this instability is closely tied to how insulin is working inside your system. When insulin levels rise quickly and often, your blood sugar can rise and then drop faster than it should. That drop is what creates the sudden hunger. That drop is what creates the cravings. That drop is what makes you feel low on energy even after eating. So the body asks for more food again, and the cycle repeats. Eat, spike, drop, crave, eat again. Over time, the cycle becomes normal, even though it is not ideal. And while this is happening, your body is also being pushed towards storing more energy instead of using it. This leads directly into one of the biggest frustrations people face: the inability to lose belly fat even when they are trying hard. Many people follow strict diets, they count calories, they avoid certain foods, they push themselves to stay on track, but the results are slow or inconsistent. And eventually, the motivation starts to fade because when effort does not match results, it becomes difficult to stay consistent. This is where many people assume that they are doing something wrong or that they lack discipline. But the reality is more complex than that. This is why many diets fail, not because the person is weak, not because they are not trying hard enough, but because the internal signals in the body are not aligned with the goal. When insulin levels remain high for long periods, the body stays in a state that favors storage. It holds on to energy. It stores fat more easily, and it resists releasing that stored fat for use. This is often called storage mode. In this state, the body is focused on keeping energy, not using it. So even if you reduce how much you eat, the body adapts by slowing things down. It tries to protect its stored energy. In simple terms, when insulin is high, fat burning becomes more difficult. The body does not want to let go of its stored fuel. It prefers to keep it. And this is why belly fat, especially the deeper type, becomes so hard to lose. It is influenced by these internal signals. It is not just sitting there waiting to be burned. It is being protected by the system. This changes the way you should think about weight loss, because it shows that the process is not only about reducing food intake, it is also about creating the right internal environment where the body is willing to use stored fat. This also explains why willpower alone is not enough. You can push yourself to eat less. You can ignore hunger for a while. You can stay strict for a few days. But if your body is sending strong signals to eat, if your energy is unstable, if your cravings are intense, then it becomes a constant struggle. And over time, that struggle becomes harder to maintain. This is not a failure of character. It is a mismatch between your actions and your internal state. When the body is not balanced, it pushes back. Once you understand this, the focus starts to shift. Instead of fighting your body, the goal becomes working with it. Instead of forcing extreme changes, the goal becomes creating conditions that allow the body to return to a more stable state. And this is where the idea of simple, consistent habits becomes important. Not extreme diets, not sudden restrictions, but small changes that influence how your body responds over time. One of the most important changes is giving your body enough time between meals. Constant eating keeps insulin levels elevated. Even small snacks can trigger a response. When this happens repeatedly throughout the day, the body never gets a break. It stays in that storage mode for longer periods. By allowing longer gaps between meals, you give your insulin levels time to come down. This creates space for your body to start using stored energy. It allows the system to reset in small ways throughout the day. Another key factor is reducing sharp spikes in blood sugar. Certain foods cause rapid increases in blood sugar, which then require a strong insulin response. When this happens often, it contributes to the cycle of highs and lows. By choosing foods that are digested more slowly, that provide steady energy instead of quick spikes, you reduce the pressure on your system. This helps keep insulin levels more stable and reduces the sudden drops that lead to hunger and cravings. Eating in a way that supports stability does not mean removing everything you enjoy. It means understanding how different foods affect your body and making choices that support balance. It means combining foods in a way that slows down digestion and prevents sharp spikes. It means paying attention to how you feel after eating and adjusting based on that feedback. These are small shifts, but they have a powerful effect over time. Consistency is what makes these changes effective. One good day does not change the system, but repeated patterns do. When you consistently give your body time to rest between meals, consistently avoid sharp spikes, consistently support stable energy, the internal signals begin to change. Insulin levels become more controlled. The body becomes more responsive again, and slowly the resistance begins to reduce. As this happens, other changes follow. Energy levels become more stable, hunger becomes more predictable, cravings become less intense, and the body becomes more willing to use stored fat. This does not happen instantly, it is a gradual process, but it is a sustainable one because it works with the body instead of against it. The key idea is not complexity, it is awareness and consistency. Small changes repeated over time reshape how your body functions. They create a different internal environment. And in that environment, the outcomes begin to shift. The signals become clearer. The patterns become easier to manage. And the process feels less like a constant struggle and more like a steady progression. It's not just belly fat, it's a signal that your body has been trying to send for a long time, quietly, patiently, waiting for you to notice. And once you start seeing it this way, everything changes because now it's no longer just about appearance. It's no longer about fighting your body or forcing results. It becomes about understanding what your body needs and why it has been reacting the way it has. And when you understand the signal, you can finally fix the cause. You stop guessing, you stop jumping from one solution to another. You start making smarter choices that actually work with your body instead of against it. This is where real change begins. Not with extreme diets, not with endless struggle, but with simple awareness that leads to consistent action. And over time, those small changes build something powerful: better energy, better control, and a body that responds the way it should. So if this opened your eyes even a little, don't ignore it. Take it seriously, because the sooner you understand what your body is telling you, the easier it becomes to turn things around. If this helped you understand your body better, take a second to like the video. It helps more people see this message. Subscribe to the channel for simple health truths that actually make sense and are easy to follow. And share this with someone who is struggling with stubborn belly fat because this might be the clarity they've been missing.